Hi guys, in this video I will demonstrate you configuring DHCP server in a network. For demonstration purpose I have created two parts in this network. First one is DHCP part, second one is static part. So for static part I have already assigned IP addresses to these devices. So devices connected to S3 have already their IP addresses. So I can confirm this thing from over here. So I have entered 172.18.0.2 as a IP address for first device, and its default gateway is 172.18.0.1. So this is the IP address of the particular interface from which this network is connected. So this is the IP address of this router, this one port, that is 172.18.0.1. So this is default gateway for this network. This is static IP allocation. I have already mentioned IP addresses over here also. So this is static allocation. Now we come to our dynamic allocation. Now I have to configure DHCP server to allocate IP addresses to these devices. So first of all, I added two switches over here and add some and devices also. Now I have added a PT server over here. Now I have to configure DHCP services on this server. Now I click on this server and go to services tab of this server. Now I click on DHCP services over here. I have to on these services. So initial stage these are at off state. Now I have to on these services and configure these services. Suppose I want to configure 172.17 series IP addresses to these devices. So I have to mention gateway also. So suppose I have mentioned 172.17.0.1 as my gateway. I have to configure this IP address at this port. That is the port from which this network connected to the router. So this is the router port where I have to configure this IP address. Now I have to mention gateway for this network. Sorry, DNS server for this network, that is 8.8.8.8. Now I have to mention start IP address over here. So that is 172.17.0 dot sorry 172.17.0.2. So I have started from 2 because I have already assigned 1 to default gateway. Now I have to mention default gateway, that is 255.0.0. So I have not disturbed remaining things over here. I don't want to server TFTP server or WLC address over here. Now I have to save these configuration. After configuring DHCP server configurations, I have to assign IP address to this server. So that should belongs to SAM network that this server is going to configure. So I have to enter same series IP address over. Suppose I want to use 172.17.0.254 as default as DHCP server IP address over here. So for this server, I have entered this IP address, that is 172.17.0.254. So I have to mention my default gateway also, that is 172.17.0.1. So now my server is configured completely. Now I have to configure default gateway over here. So I have to configure default gateway IP address over here. So let's configure this interface, that is gigabyte Ethernet port 0/0. I have to enter 172.17.0.1 as a IP address over here. That is the IP address of this default gateway for this network. Now I have to verify whether I am able to assign IP addresses to these devices not, or my my DHCP server is working properly or not. So first of all, press forward for some time so that all tables got populated. Now I have to go to this PC2 IP configuration part and select DHCP over here. So you can view over here that I got 172.0.2 as a IP address for this PC2. Let's check for other devices also. I got 172.17.0.3 as a IP address for this device. So you can confirm DHCP entries, sorry, you can confirm default gateway and DNS entries also, that is 172.17.0.1 and 8.8.8.8 as a DNS server entry. Similarly, same thing I can configure for other devices also. So in this manner, I have used DHCP server to configure IP addresses for these devices. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.